Well, I presented the winery in the restaurant today, aptly named 10 Minutes, because primarily the 3 vineyards the Steadings have were all 10 minutes by tractor. So very, very unassuming. Karen and Martin then bought a site in Red Hill with the original cottage and an apple orchard, and started a restaurant there probably 25 years ago, and which has been going really well. And then this happened in 2018, a fire went through the apple shed, essentially destroyed the shed, and fire damaged the restaurant. Martin lost all his old tractors that he collects, 30 years of wine. It was really quite a big deal. So he approached us to come in and work with him, and the family's involved, and that's Martin on the left. He's a very interesting man, very interesting winemaker. And it really led to our discussions. He, of course, like every winemaker, is very interested in terroir, the essence of place, and we're, of course, interested in genius loci, the spirit of place. And been a discussion with him about how to design a place that matched his winemaking. That's been the secret. So we had kind of 4 design challenges. The first one is to do a new architecture that matched him. His wines are unassuming, they're subtle, they don't jump out at you. So he didn't want an icon here. He wanted something that was about place and less about statement. Second challenge, really diverse brief: winery, cellar, cellar door, extensions to restaurant, gallery, office. So how do we bring a very diverse program together? The third is they wanted to keep the existing cottage. So we had a scale issue here that we needed. And lastly, virtually no money, and with 40 staff here, so it had to be done quickly. So what we did is we broke the brief down into separate elements: winemaking, new extensions to the restaurant, and brought them together with the cottage here, with a new ground plane, a new event space in between it. Each of these programmatically does something different. So that's the new architecture. The ground plane links it all, and where the restaurant was here, wherever we've added toilets or new kitchens, the architecture of that is simply about the garden walls. Very simple partie. And in the vertical plane or the horizontal plane, the 3 elements of winemaking, links to the cellar, and then the new restaurant dealing with the above ground, and then the cellar below. And just in planning, you see them coming onto site with really the central space. There's effectively a town square that links winemaking, gallery, and cellar door. New extensions to the restaurant, number 3, new kitchen in number 4, the original cottage in number 2, and then new toilets through here, in a way kind of forming a campus. And there you see it now, really arranged on site. The original restaurant on the left, the cottage was done then by Graham Gunn, and we kept a lot of Graham's early work in that. But the composition here has really been about the objects, and wherever we've made a cut, the cuts have purpose. The cut at the back is entry to the winery. The vertical cut shows where the gallery is. The second cut is the cellar door. And the last cut there through here is the new dining space. So object and then cut, and then a new stone ground plane running through everything as their event space in between. The architecture is very utilitarian. As I said, there wasn't much money. Simple portal frames, steel clad. Everything else then is landscape with arbors and stone walls that form the indoor-outdoor spaces throughout. So like Martin's wine, very simple and crafted in the spots that needed to be. The cut into the cellar door. So outside very simple, but then we've used the volumes inside as you come into the cellar door to do this. We visited their Tonnelier in France and looked at certainly the barrel making process, and Martin was keen that was brought through into the cellar door itself. The skylight's there deliberately so that we have a sense of time as you're in there, because winemaking is about time and about environment. And even the pieces for the cellar door tables, as we were excavating the cellar, that's the soil profile from organic through to bedrock. And that's really what the essence of winemaking is about, bringing that out into the wine. On all the tables through here, elements of that we used in handmade bricks that then represent both what is on the ground, what is above, and what is below. And everything here has fire, because it's bloody cold most of the year. So the indoor-outdoor space that's come through, and connections then back into the original restaurant. So this was the original cottage that Graham did the early work on. We've clad that, we've opened up these major views into kitchens where Adams works. So as you arrive, you can see the food that's been prepared, but now with clean vistas through to the landscape beyond. And then internally, we've kept Graham's custom orb ceilings, and the client wanted to get rid of this. I said we need to keep it, but we've added new elements to it. And a lot of the screening you see here, I know you guys love tractors, but that's the T20 Massey Ferguson, which had a grille, much like the Alpha, and cues about that in the way in which we've done screening. So the interior's very lush. This is 2 Michelin star. The exterior very simple, and you have to penetrate it and understand it. And then as we move into the new private dining space here, very simple to contrast the existing restaurant. A lovely 4-metre oak table by Damien Wright with these blackwood bow ties in. And you really do feel like you're almost sitting in the new vineyard Martin's put in. Even the toilets on the other side, rather than them just being clipped on, they're behind a stone garden wall, again with views through the landscape. And we're using the stone then to encapsulate these guys in the bottom right. So there's no architecture to it other than the space itself within here. And then down into the wine cellar, which is half done at the moment. Again, the budget allowed us to get down and start this, and it'll be extended as we move through into the future. And last couple of slides, I think the thing, and that's one of the original sheds that remains here. It's a piece of ramshackle picturesque. In a sense, what we've done, and I love this about Australian rural architecture, it keeps the rain off, keeps the sun out. And what we've really done is interpret the idea of old sheds into new sheds and compose them, essentially across a site with a very simple design expression here. Base, object, existing restaurant, and forming a campus rather than a single building. So, thank you all.